If you look on your screen, you should see a picture of a toddler, and he has 4 word bubbles around him: mama, hi, dada, and egg. This episode will be helpful if you have a toddler, again, who is not yet talking, or even an older child who does not seem to be talking at an age-appropriate level. So, in order to create a list of functional first words, you must first understand what constitutes a child's first words and how many words a child should have by the time they reach a certain age. So let's quickly discuss what typically constitutes a child's first words and how many words they should have. Typically, developing children will begin to say their first words between the ages of 12 to 15 months. Some late talkers may not begin until they're 18 months old. However, by age 2, most typically developing children know or understand around 50 words. At this point, a 2-year-old should also be able to put 2 simple word phrases together, such as "Jizz please," "Go truck," or "Mommy go." Most first words consist of nouns or objects and verbs or actions. However, when a parent comes to me with the following statement, "My 2 or 3-year-old child is not talking," the first question I ask them is, are there any words that your child says on a regular basis despite not talking as much as he or she should be? The parent or caregiver will typically reply with what I call the usual words: hi, bye, mama, dada, and no. So in this case, technically the child can talk. However, they are not saying nearly the amount of words that are expected at their age. So guys, therefore, in my years of practice, I've developed what I like to call my strategies and techniques to help parents help their child develop functional first words. So although this strategy and these techniques can be applied in different settings, I found it to be most effective when it can be developed and implemented in the home. So next I will list some developmental principles that I adhere to. Developmental Principle 1. Commit to teaching nouns and verbs. For example, children first learn that a dog, which is a thing or a noun, is called a dog before they learn attributes about the dog. For example, that it's a big dog or it's a black dog. With regard to verbs, children also learn to explore the world, their immediate world, through exploration and play. And play, in turn, requires actions such as running, jumping, kicking, swinging, etc. So, now that you know about the developmental principles that I adhere to, let's talk about some strategies that you could use to implement this at home. Search your home for toys and other items that your child encounters on a regular basis. Functional items such as a sippy cup, toys such as a baby doll, ball, cars or bubbles, blocks or educational materials such as a book or crayons can be identified as the first set of functional nouns that your child will encounter. The goal here is to label and identify these items for your child so that she or he can begin to make the connection and association between a tangible object and the word that connects to it. So, the first functional set of nouns should be items within your child's immediate environment that he or she can access. For example, it would not make sense for your child to learn about what a trampoline is if they have never seen one or been exposed to one, but they have various balls such as a basketball or a kickball in the house, but point to it and whine for it or just pick it up and bring it to you because they have not learned the vocabulary word for that item that is available within the home. You can also make a chart or list of the words so that your list can be modified as many times as necessary as your child hopefully begins to learn and master the names of various items within their immediate environment that they have already been introduced to. So we're going to stop sharing there, and I'm actually going to share a list of words from a patient that I currently have on caseload right now. So you guys can actually see this in action and see what it looks like in real time. All right, so let me go back to do another screen share. Bear with me for just a second. All right. All right, guys, so what you're looking at here is a patient of mine, and this is some different pictures that I have developed for her. So it's her wall of words. And then here are some different pictures that the family and I have worked and collaborated with together based off some of the actual items she has in the home and some of the toys that I bring I'm either in the home for therapy or if we're doing a teletherapy visit and I present these items on screen. So I actually have a yellow ball that I bring to the home. So we found a picture of a yellow ball. I actually have a toy of Minnie Mouse. So we found a picture of Mouse. And I actually have a picture that's supposed to represent Minnie Mouse's bow. And I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. These two items are actually items that this particular patient has at home that the mom actually took a picture of, emailed them to me, and I included them in the list that we're developing for her. So we have her actual baby and her actual sippy cup. We actually have a picture of an actual ball that she has at home. This is a picture of her car and a picture of her doll, which we call a puppy. So let me go back to the beginning here. So a little bit about this particular patient. This patient has been diagnosed with a neurological disorder that makes it difficult for her to produce voluntary motor control for words. However, we are at the stage where we're working on creating the first sound of the word, and these are all words that we've developed that are easier for her to say based off the type of sound it is. So, for example, it's easier for this patient to try to say the bus sound for ball and the m sound for mouse or the b sound for bow. So she's working on the first sounds that typically develop, and I'll make another video episode about that at a later date. But for example, we've kept the words simple, one syllable, and very tangible. So ball, mouse, bow. This is a two-syllable word, baby, that the patient can actually approximate and say. And then we have another word, cup. And again, another one-syllable word, ball. Another one-syllable word, car. And another two-syllable word, puppy. So one of the first words that the patient learned to approximate was ball. I have a yellow ball with an emoji face that I picked up from a local Walmart years ago that is older than a lot of my patients that I have on caseload now, but they love this ball. And so once I saw that the patient was willing to try to approximate and verbally try to say the word to request the ball so she could bounce on it and I could kick it to her and she could try to kick it back and bounce it and engage with the ball, we found a picture. So again, I took a picture of a yellow ball, and this is the representation. This is the actual item that she's learned to associate with my toy. The same thing with this mouse here. Now, Minnie Mouse is going to be a lot for this patient to say, so we simplified the word down to mouse to allow it to be easier for her to verbally request. I have a particular dial where you can touch the Minnie Mouse's bow and it activates the mouse. So in conjunction with the word mouse, this patient has also learned to say the word bow as it relates to a way to request the Minnie Mouse toy. So if the patient is having a difficult time with the M and she cannot approximate mouse, but she can approximate or say the word bow to indicate her desire for the mouse or to touch Minnie Mouse's bow, she has access to that word as well for verbal requesting purposes. Again, if the patient wants to play with her baby, I've instructed the parents to have a picture of the baby and also point to the baby and the actual picture so the patient can make that association between, oh, this is my baby doll and this is what my baby doll looks like. This is a picture of her in case I wanted to point to it and be able to try to name it. This is her actual cup. Again, with the cup, that situation is a little different because the patient has become accustomed to being handed her cup anytime she wants something to drink. So right now, I'm there breaking that bad habit and trying to get her to begin to verbally request and associate the picture of her cup with this is actually what I want, as opposed to crying or just trying to reach for it, something that she's learned to do over the last several months. Again, I did not want the patient to just associate a ball with the yellow ball that I bring to the home. So I asked the parents if they had a ball in their home, which they did, and they actually took this picture and sent it to me. And this is another representation because, again, balls may all be the same size, round, but balls come in all different colors and sizes. Again, here's a picture of the patient's actual car. So if there's a car that she wants to request to play with, she doesn't have to wait for me to bring a physical car from my therapy bag. She has one at home. And again, with the puppy, I have a puppy that's similar to the one that the patient has. So again, I will show her the picture of my puppy, but she also has a visual representation of her own puppy at home. So again, if we look at this particular patient's wall of words, which we termed it for her at home, this is the beginning of her list of functional first words.